Yes. Okay. So, good evening. Thanks for hanging out with me, guys. I'm going to share with you guys some new member systems because we're all about working smarter, not harder. And so I know for a lot of people, they've come up to me and they said, well, I just don't know if I sign people up, I feel like I might not be able to take good care of them because I don't have a lot of time. And so they actually hesitate to enroll people and help them get started because they're not sure that they'll do a good job with them, which I totally respect. And I love that, people want to care about their members so much that they want to make sure they're doing a good job. Hey, girls. So tonight I kind of am just going to go through the basics of new member systems so that you're working smarter, not harder, that you can early in the game do something I didn't do, and that's set up systems so that it's just ready to go. So for me now, and I started this a while back, but I did not have this in the beginning. I have these systems in place. And so when I get an email that I have a new member, I can just start the systems process, and it takes me just a few minutes, and then just carry along with that system. So again, I apologize for having to do this from my car. I have some friends who wanted to have dinner at a rooftop restaurant and I could not say no to that. So I'm jumping out of that really quick to hang out with you guys. One fact I want you guys to remember is that 60% of new members never have a second order. That's just average. It's not really for our team because our team's awesome, but that's average. 60% of people do not have a second order. So for getting new member systems in place, that will completely change that number for you. Once somebody enrolls and they do not place a second order, the likelihood of them placing a third or an order after that third month or that fourth month when they haven't placed an order is very small. So it's really nice to have this system in place right away. So the first thing you want to do is build your welcome letter. This is an email, a letter, both, whatever it is. Build your welcome letter and your email and just reuse. For me, I have both. I have an email that goes out to them. As soon as I get that email that says that somebody enrolled, I have an email that has all of the information I want to make sure they have right in the beginning, and I'll share with you what some of that is. And then I also have a letter saved that I can change up and print out and include with their new member welcome packet, which we'll talk about too. So these are systems. So you need to have something that goes to them right away, whether it's a text or an email or something to welcome them. And this is where I feel like it's really important to get them plugged in right away. So let's talk about some resources and where to, help them find answers. The best thing you can do is really help them find answers right away in their journey. So I'm going to share with you what I put in my welcome email, and you're welcome to take whatever you want from it and include whatever. Sometimes at first I hesitated to give them too much information because I didn't want them to feel overwhelmed. But after a while, I began getting the same questions over and over. And so I included more in my welcome email. And I decided that I was going to give them lots of great information right up front, just where they could find answers. I wasn't necessarily giving them the answers. I was giving them where to find them. And they get to choose what interests them and what they want to utilize. So obviously, I tell them about our Facebook group or groups right away in the welcome email. I also give them a link to subscribe to the email newsletter that doesn't go out as much as it should. And I give them a link to our Oily Friends YouTube channel now that we have it. I also let them know about the Young Living text alerts that kind of died down, but we still get them. If you get them, you know that they'll tell us when there's a sale. So that's really good, because a lot of times people are like, I missed that. I didn't even know that was going on. And I feel really bad. So they might be into all those other resources and not see that the sale's going on or something. So I like to give them the information for the text alerts, and that's in Oily Friends too. So if you want that, that's all in Oily Friends. Look at that cutie right there. I can't even, Livy. And also there is I tell them about the Life Steps app that we have now. And I also give them a link to purchase the Essential Oils Desk Reference app, the Pocket on the Go app that we get from LSP. And I encourage them to find that. And that or to get that. And sometimes I actually will buy it for them depending on what I'm doing for my new member incentive. But I feel like a lot of the answers that I get at first from new members can be answered with that app. And so that's a really valuable thing to get them. I also let them know in their welcome email. I ask them, or I tell them how to get their referral link. I call it their referral link so that when somebody, because some of you know, maybe you've had somebody ask you like, well, somebody, my family member told me that they want to order too. So how do they order through me? And so I got that question enough to go, okay, I'm going to just put that in my welcome email and I'm going to show them how they can go in their virtual office and get their personalized referral link right from the beginning. I also include a graphic that's got some oils on it and it says like, I just did something for my wellness journey, want to join me or something like that. So that, and I encourage them to use that and share that as well. So that is the welcome email. And then in the letter that goes with their new member packet, I might remind them of some of those things in that welcome letter too. So the welcome packet, my welcome packet's ever changing, and yours, some of yours probably is too, because there's always different resources coming out. I just have a new one that I like now. I feel like it covers a bunch of the books that I used to do. So I switched to this one, and I think it's going to come out backwards, but this is called Simply Wellness. And this goes into like all the oils, all the, like a lot of the product categories. And it also talks about, so I mean, it's got the CBD and the kids and the outdoor and the emotions and cooking and brain and makeup and skincare and animals and stuff like that. So it covers a lot of the things that I used to do separately. It also talks about essential rewards, and it also talks about, it has the income disclosure statement. So this in itself is enough for you to include in your new member welcome packet if you want. That is not a parking spot. Sorry, somebody's gonna crash into me. No. So this one, where did I get this from? Oilsupply.store.com. This one I really like the most right now. And I like to give people resources that they can use to share with other people. So I include a couple of those Oily Friends brochures that I have in the file of our Faithful Growers group. I have some of these printed out, and I include a few of them in there and encourage them to share them with anybody that asks them about Young Living too. So right away, I'm getting them tools to share. I also like to include a couple of little booklets. So the Fearless Confidence with Essential Oils from Sarah Harnish's website. What is that? Oilability, right? Or something. Whoops, that one's gone. And then your game plan. This is a game plan mini. So the Fearless Confidence is just kind of like a little mini booklet about using essential oils. The game plan mini is about sharing and building a Young Living business. So if that's something that they want to look more into, they have that right away at the beginning. And then, you know, samples sometimes I'll throw a chapstick in with it. Sometimes I'll throw in, like if it's somebody that has kids, I'll do some Mighty Pro packets or some Unwind packets or something like that. I just try to get them something as like a sample that they can check out too. If you buy the beauty bags, you can get samples of like art skincare products and things like that. So just something like that for a sample. So that's pretty much my packet. So once you've got, and like what I'll do is just order a bunch at a time, and then I'll have it. And so then as soon as I have a new member, I can get that stuff put together and drop it in the mail for them. So these are just systems. And so if I get a new member, between doing the email and the new member welcome packet, I might spend 10, 15 minutes at the most doing those things. And then a follow-up system. My paper fell. Okay. So a follow-up system is to make sure that you're checking in on them. Some people are better at this than me, so I won't, you know, claim to be great at this, but I want to share with you, if you are registered on vital180.com, you can get this new member checklist, and it says like 3 days, 10 days, and 30 days, and like what things to go over with them to check on them. The 10 days is like, did their kid arrive? I've moved that back to like 14 days because of how things are going right now, and that's okay. So it's just kind of like showing you. So you got space up here for your new member, and you can punch these and put them in a binder or something like that. And then it just really gives you some great tangible systems to use at different stages for following up with them. So I really love this. But I don't ever like, I will say that I don't want to say like, just send them a bunch of stuff and that's it. I love to make sure that I'm asking questions and getting feedback from them so that I can still customize how I support and help them. So it's not all just totally standardized. But there's just systems. So there's systems, and then we fill in with more customized attention and care. So 14 days, did they receive their kit? I like to ask them if there are any oils in their kit that they don't know how to use, that they haven't opened, and then help them with that one. And then I can point them back to the desk reference app that I talked about in my welcome email. I ask them, sometimes when I first started, I was like, did you, get in the group or whatever? And yep, I did. And then sometimes they wouldn't say anything, and I wanted more than that. So I would ask, what have you liked or disliked about the resources that I've given you? What did you think about the group? Have you found some answers in there? And if not, then I know I can walk them through that. And then one of the things that I want to do after their kit has arrived is also make sure that they know how to place another order. That kind of opens up to talk about essential rewards too, to help make sure that they're not spending money on a shop order when they could be doing an essential rewards order and getting points off of their order. So those are some things about like 2 weeks after, like, so maybe when they get their kit kind of time. 30 days, every 30 days, we started on a couple of my legs. We started doing postcards, and Oil Supply Store, Growing Healthy Homes, Etsy. There are a ton of places that have some really great postcards. Sorry about that. I'm in Tulsa. There are some really great postcards. So it's really fun to just send them a postcard every month, but also, wanting to do something more personal, like asking questions. So reaching out to them and asking questions. So this is where we talk about asking effective questions. So if it's a yes or no question, I try to avoid it because that usually doesn't get me enough information so that I can really help meet their needs. And sometimes people have needs and they don't realize it. And if you just give them a yes or no question, it's more like yeah or no, and then you won't get that information. So so there's some good questions that you'll be able to keep reusing on this handout from Vital 180 also. They did put this sheet along with some other really handy worksheets in their Authentic Influence workbook from vital180.com. I love it. You can like copy the worksheets or you can print them off from their website. So anyway, really handy stuff. And then, we used to have we learned the hard way to make sure to ask people, like, did you find the rest of your stuff in your kit, especially the way that the kit used to be, because it used to be where people would you'd have to lift up the oils under to find the stuff underneath, and everybody would message and be like, I didn't get all my stuff. So it's just fun to connect on stuff like that. One thing I will say is we tend to prejudge people and say like, they don't want to know about the biz yet, they just started or something like that. And as I told you, I share right away from the beginning, this is how to get your referral link. Here's a game plan mini. And then on one of the follow-up things that I mail, I have the income opportunity or income disclosure chart from oilsupply.oilsupply.store.com. And I include that in something and encourage them to share. And what was I going to say about that? And then just, inviting them to classes. So when you're having them on your schedule and you're like, okay, it's, 30 days, I want to check in with them. Are there any classes I can invite them to? If they're not local, are there any online resources for learning coming up that I can invite them to and stuff like that? So, hold on, what's that? Oh, right. Okay. So sometimes what I find is that people, I'm working through this still, but we prejudge our members and we're like, well, they probably won't want to know this. Well, they probably don't want to know this. Or I'd be like, well, I don't want to tell them about essential rewards, even though they just placed a shop order, because I know they're losing points, but what if they think I'm trying to be pushy or whatever? And so we've got to get past that And just our job is really just to give them the information and then let them decide what they're going to do with it. So, um, sharing information, sharing resources, and then asking effective questions. One of the things I want to tell you about taking these follow ups as opportunities to share the business with them, and I don't say the business necessarily. That's why I told you I talk about sharing a referral link because that sounds so much like more friendly in the beginning than like doing a business. Some people will come in and they'll be like, I want to do business right away. Most people, it sounds very much intimidating to say it that way. And some people, it even sounds intimidating to say to share Young Living because that's like, share it. How do I share it? Like, what do I say in my post or whatever? So I talk about referral link and make it a little bit friendly there in the beginning and less intimidating. But one thing I want to tell you is that in hearing a lot of diamond leaders talk, a lot of them, and I would venture to guess that it's a majority of them, actually say that they only did the business and they only started doing the business because their upline kept repeatedly asking them, hey, let's teach a class together. Hey, do you want to do this? Hey, why don't you share with the, hey, why don't you do this? It's not, and you know what? They don't regret where they're at now and where it's taken them. So you can really be doing somebody a favor by just using that in your follow up as well. I always include an invitation for new members, usually at like the 30 or 60-day follow up, to host a class that I will teach. If they're not local, I tell them I will do it. You could stream me in live and I will be there. And I keep reissuing that invitation until they take me up on it. So I have a couple of people who I continue doing that every time we talk. I love teaching. I want to help them teach. I know it sounds intimidating for a lot of people. So it's not hard. You stream me in or I show up and we do it together. And so I'm always using that in my follow-ups also. So we're almost at 20 minutes, which is what I've been trying to keep these to. I will put links to the resources that I shared with you in the post when I get this up on our YouTube channel. So I will have a list to some of those things. If you guys have some other favorite resources that you send to new members, please chime in with them in that post or just post them in Faithful Growers because I think that, you know, we all have different people that we're sharing with and different styles of people, and somebody might like something else better than that. So we love collaborating and hearing what you guys are doing and stuff like that. So if you could share that in our group, I would really appreciate that. And if you guys have any questions, I can take those. Otherwise, I can stop the recording if you don't want to be recorded. See if I can figure out how to do that. How do I do that?